Hey everybody, it's John Halpin. Welcome to the November 30th edition of Pickwatch Live. Josh Katzowitz is with me here this morning, like every Friday. We're going to go through all the Week 16 games. But first, how about them Cowboys, Josh?
I don't understand the NFL, John. I don't get it. I don't know.
I got this one right. I'm gonna pat myself on the back.
You picked this one right. Well, that's good.
Well,
Did you pick it straight up, or did you pick the Saints? You picked the Saints straight up.
I picked Saints straight up. The reasoning, which is not scientific in the least, was you can't win by 2 touchdowns every week, and at some point you're going to have you go on the road against a decent team, and the Cowboys have been playing better lately. I mean, their offense has been playing better, and the offense first half was fine, second half not so great, but their defense was tremendous. Like, I just kind of thought the Saints had to hit a bump in the road somewhere, and last night just seemed like a logical spot.
I think if you put all your money into betting against the road team on Thursday night games, you're going to win a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's just
I
how
don't have
it
the
is.
numbers in front of me, but you might be right.
I don't. It feels that way anyway. I got sucked into the Saints being 9-2 against the spread and being awesome, and the Cowboys being mediocre. But maybe they're not. Maybe they're better than that. And I was wrong. And I was working yesterday with a big Cowboys fan, and he was like, "Oh, the Cowboys are going to control the clock," and blah blah. Thinking, man, what are you talking about? You're crazy. And then he's texting me during the game, like with this big, the big eyes emoji, like,
right.
Oh, look at this. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
He was right. I was wrong.
I did a little of that last night because when I was doing the show with Ryan on Tuesday morning, I said, I think the Cowboys might win this game, and I'm definitely taking the cover. And he's going, what? What do you mean? But I mean, he beats me every week, so it's my chance to, take a shot back at him. All right. Let's see. So overall against the spread, by the way, Ryan, who we talked about, he's 6th against the spread. I'm 18th, Josh 26th. We're going to move up this week. If you have, by the way, all top half, we're doing fine. If you have any questions, send us on Twitter. He is at Josh Katzowitz. I'm at jhalpin37, and the main account is at Pickwatch. What to look for? Look, make your picks at NFLPickwatch.com. We tell you this every week. You should know this by now. Make your picks. Track everybody else's picks. We got over 1,600 fans making picks every week. This is going to give you good trends. If you want to win pools, kind of go against the grain on people, things like that. You're going to see where the action is going. This show goes on YouTube. Usually streams live on Facebook. We're having technical difficulties on Facebook today, so if you've seen it later via YouTube link, that's why. Sorry about that. But we do that. The audio versions of it, we go on YouTube, and you can subscribe on Podbean to our stream. I don't know if we're on Spotify and iTunes yet. If we're not, we'll be there pretty soon. Also, you can sort our picks if you want to see how we pick. Like, if you want to see, hey, what's been my success picking the Jacksonville Jaguars? Or what's Josh's success been over the last 3 years? You can sort so many different ways, the expert picks and fan picks at NFLPickwatch.com. Please go check it out if you haven't already. And the forums are a great place to chat with other fans. Send us messages, about, hey, here's what I think about the site. And, if you're having an issue or if you want something improved, that you have a suggestion, we'd love to hear it. All right, let's get to the Week 13 schedule. We got a full schedule, no buys. So let's crank through this quickly and make our picks, Josh. Colts, Jags. A lot of news here. So Colts favored by 4. At Jacksonville, the over-under is 47. So the Jags, big week. Leonard Fournette suspended. So Jalen Ramsey didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. Jags fired their offensive coordinator. Bench Blake Bortles. Cody Kessler's going to start. Other side, they've lost 7 straight. This looks to be a team in a bit of a death spiral.
Yeah, it's been a rough season in Jacksonville, and it's disappointing because everybody thought they were going to be good coming off their playoff run last year. And I think a lot of people didn't believe in Blake Bortles, but obviously Jacksonville did, giving him an extension, and that has blown up in their face. And now they're a team where it's such a league of parity, but it's also a league where you can be so high one year and so low the next year, and that's what Jacksonville's experiencing. And they're probably going to lose their coach. They're probably going to get rid of Doug Marrone. They're going to get rid of Blake Bortles, I'd imagine. They've already got rid of their offensive coordinator. It's just a team that's in disarray. And that said, I like the Colts straight up here. I like the Jags. What is it, plus 3.5? Is that
4. We've got 4 right
plus 4? Plus 4. The Jags have been in close games. They lost last week by 3. They lost the week before by 4. They lost the week before by 3. They lost the week before by 6. So they're, the last month or so, they've played almost well enough to win. And that's kind of what I'm counting on here. I like the Colts. I think the Colts are massively improving, even if they finally give up a sack to Andrew Luck. I just think they're going to be in close games, and they're not going to win them, but the Jaguars are going to be in close games, and that's what I think here.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I can see your logic here. You know, earlier in the season, every week I talk a lot about, you know, I never want to say that a team's going to roll over. So when are they going to kind of make their stand and try to save their season? Kind of like I thought with the Jags against the Steelers a couple of weeks ago. But we're at the point of the season now. Like you look at a team like the Raiders. Maybe the Raiders are a bad example. Who's another bad? The 49ers, right? The 49ers are bad, but they kind of know they're bad. And they've been playing under the scope of bad ever since Garoppolo got hurt. So things didn't change much for them since then. The Jags, they're this team that expected so much this season, and everything just completely unraveled. I wonder if they're just almost going to throw in the towel. You know what I mean? Like things are just that this malaise is going to hang with them for the final 5 weeks.
Yeah, there's also the kind of the idea, like, I guess Scott Milanovic is going to take over play calling in Jacksonville. There's also the idea that for a week or two, the team plays better. That's what happened with when Hugh Jackson got fired in Cleveland, with Greg Williams taking over, the team played better. When Byron Leftwich took over in Arizona, the team played better on offense. So there is kind of this precedent of teams playing better because of new blood. Maybe that happens here. Like I said, I don't think the Jaguars are going to win, but they have an opportunity to keep the game close.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the Colts. By the way, Colts, Jack Doyle on injury reserve. Support Marlon Mack in the concussion protocol. Hopefully he's going to play, but we're not sure. By the way, these teams played 3 weeks ago. Indy won 29-26 at home. I'm going to go with the Colts. I like the way the Colts are playing. Like I said, I think the Jags might be packing it in. So you've got the Jags. Right now, by the way, on NFL Pickwatch, this is overwhelming, by the way. The fans are 80% Colts. And let's see what we got here on the experts. The experts are 90% Colts. So if you want to go against the grain,
you want to be different.
You're going to be different, is right. But it's weird. We're going to talk more about this as the show goes on, but I feel like the picks are more extreme this week than any other week we've had. Because most week we say, oh, this team's so popular, 72% of people pick. We've got like 5 teams at 80% and up with the expert. It's really crazy. Normally the fans are more extreme. This week it seems that the experts are more extreme with how all over certain teams they are. All right, let's go to the next game. Panthers Bucks. Panthers favored by 3.5 on the road, over under 54.5. 4 weeks ago they played. Panthers won 42-28. They were up by a lot. The Bucks made a run at them late. Panthers have lost 3 in a row. They're struggling. They're 1-4 on the road. They got killed by Pittsburgh. Then they had close losses at Detroit, where they went for the 2-point conversion, and last week home against Seattle, where that game could have gone either way. But their defense didn't look good. The Bucks have been okay at home. They're 3-2 at home. Deshaun Jackson battling a thumb injury. We got to see what the news is on him. By the way, over under 54.5. Carolina 4 of their last 5 have been over. Bucks 9 of their last 12 have been over. So, do the Panthers right the ship here on the road when they haven't been playing well on the road?
I don't think so. I'm going with the Buccaneers here straight up and to cover that. Was it 3.5? You said. So, yeah. So I'm mostly going with the Buccaneers to cover and to actually win the game. I kind of think the Panthers are in a little bit of death spiral, and I like the way the Buccaneers looked last week against the 49ers. I like Jameis Winston being back in that spot again, although that's a really – it's always shifty. It's always kind of fragile with whoever's quarterback in there. But, over 400 yards of offense. The offense has been putting up some yards.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about, even though turnover-wise they've been turning the ball over, but last week they didn't turn the ball over at all. So with Tampa Bay at home, this being an important division game, I don't like the Panthers here. I think they're struggling, and I think they're going to get beat up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to take the Bucks too, especially with the points, because I don't like the way the Panthers are playing. The problem with the Panthers, it's weird because, I talk about them more than other teams because I'm in Charlotte and I watch them a lot, but I really still can't figure them out. Like they could come out and they could lose this game, or they could win by 3 touchdowns, and nothing would surprise me. It's kind of like this league makes no sense, as you said earlier. That's how I feel about this team because, the defense hasn't agreed. The offense looks terrific. The defense struggles, and against the Bucks have a good offense. They can't run much, but they sure can throw, and they've got weapons, and the Panthers might be down a corner, so I don't know.
But we know what Tampa Bay is. We know that Tampa Bay will score a lot of points, and their defense will score a lot of points. So we know about Tampa Bay. I'm more comfortable picking Tampa Bay here for some reason.
Yeah, I am too. Right now on NFLPickwatch.com, 67% of the experts are on the Panthers, and 65% of the fans are on the Panthers, and that's what.
It's one of those desperate. You like those desperate games. It's one of those desperate games.
Yes, it is a desperate game for sure, because the Panthers next 2 weeks are Bucks and Browns. After that, Saints, Falcons, Saints. So, I mean, those last 3 weeks are hell. So they better win. They better win the next two. All right, Ravens, Falcons. Ravens favored by 1.5. Over under 48. It's at Atlanta. This started at 2.5, and it's come down. Flacco probably out again. He practiced Thursday, but it sounds like Lamar Jackson's going to start. Just remember, early in the week, Harbaugh was, saying stuff about maybe we'll use both of them. I don't know. Look, if I was going to bet a game, if I'm in a pool where I'm picking every game, like we're doing now, kind of, so we got to make a pick, right? If you're going to go and hey, I'm going to bet 3 or 4 games this week, don't bet a team if you don't know who's going to play quarterback every down. Just stay away. It's not worth it. And maybe Harbaugh's blowing smoke, and he probably is. It's probably going to be Jackson, but there's too much weirdness going on with that, and I'd rather avoid it.
Why do you even consider starting or playing Joe Flacco? I can consider playing him. I don't know why you consider I don't know why you consider giving him the majority of the snaps at this point. The offense is playing so much better with Jackson. Defense, it's still going to be a while before opposing defenses can figure out what he's doing. Eventually, they will. Eventually, they'll be able to scheme to stop him. But at this point, there's not a ton of film on him. They have a chance to make the playoffs. The team is playing good right now. The team's spirits are up. I don't know why you go back to Flacco if that is an option, if he's really serious about that.
I agree. Until there's a loss, or Jackson looks really bad. And Jackson, the offense, like you said, the offense has been fine. He's not perfect. When he throws the ball, he struggles a little bit right now. But I don't know why. The thing is, I don't know how. I'm not a coach or a scout or a huge X and O guy, but I don't know how you game plan for 2 quarterbacks so wildly different like that. Like, I don't know on the defense how you do it, but even if you're the Ravens, how do you say? And I know they've had Jackson plays in the playbook, but how would you possibly go out on a series to start the second quarter and go, oh, by the way, we're going to play Flacco for a little while now? I mean, it's such a different look completely for yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. I think if John Harbaugh is coaching for his job, which he seems to be doing, you got to give the team the best chance to win. And you're right. I mean, listen, Lamar Jackson isn't a great quarterback at this point, but he gives them something different. And so far, defenses have had a hard time stopping that. And the Falcons' defense is not very good. I think you go with what brought you. At the same time, I'm picking the Falcons here because, you talk a lot about you don't like picking against home underdogs. And the Falcons, for whatever reason, for me personally, I have a hard time thinking the Falcons stink just because that offense can be so dynamic with Matt Ryan.
Right.
So, and I still don't think Baltimore's that great. So I'm going with Atlanta here to be a little bit of a spoiler for Baltimore. I just like them, and I guess the fans like them too because it started, like you said, started at 2.5 and now it's at 1.5.
Yeah, I'm with the Falcons too. They actually didn't play badly against the Saints last week. They just fumbled 3 times inside the 10-yard line. And it was, it's bad, but
the red zone offense. The red zone offensive woes that have kind of plagued them a little bit this year. They keep coming back to it. They can't score the ball once they get inside the 20. Fumble the ball 3 times like that. It's a problem.
Yep. By the way, Atlanta's 2-4 against spread at home. Both teams 1-4 against spread in their last 5. If you want the over-under, remember, it's 48. Ravens, 6 of their last 9 have been under. Falcons, 4 of their last 5 have been under. They also might get Deion Jones, a middle linebacker, back. I probably said this 4 weeks in a row, but this time it sounds like it might be for real, which is a big help for them. All right, so we're both taking the Falcons. Right now on NFLPickwatch.com, we have got 67% of the experts on the Falcons, 58% of the fans on the Falcons. So we're with the crowd again. Browns, Texans. This spreads up to 6. Texans favored by 6, over under 47. This is your fun game of the week. Started at 4.5 Houston, so it's been going up, which is interesting because Baker Mayfield is just he's the talk of the town everywhere. Everybody loves Baker Mayfield, but the spread's going up in favor of the Texans.
Yeah, I wonder if people are beginning to kind of believe in Houston. And maybe they did before, but for me, I've talked a lot about I don't believe in Houston. Yeah, they won 5 in a row. Yeah, they won 6 in a row. Yeah, they won 7 in a row. I don't believe in them. Now they won 8 in a row. And yeah, their opposition strength of schedule isn't great still, but they keep winning. And they can't control that. I mean, they can't control who they're playing. All they can do is beat the teams that are in front of them. And that's what they've done. And, last Monday night, they beat up the Titans. Not a great team, but they look good doing it. And I kind of come to the realization that I don't know if Houston can really make a deep playoff run, but they're going to win that division. And they're a solid team. Now, I think the Browns have become more of a solid team too, but going on the road to Houston, the rookie quarterback still, I'm not sure I believe that Greg Williams is going to be the savior in Cleveland, even though they certainly played better with him. Last week against the Bengals was almost seems like a revenge game against Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson was on the opposing sideline, and we talked. We know that Baker Mayfield refused to hug him, and then kind of went after him a little bit in the postgame interview. And I think that meant a lot to that Browns team. Sees Hugh on the other sideline. That's a little bit different this week. So I like Houston. I picked it when I was picking it was Houston at -5. I still like Houston -6.
I do too. Much as I love Baker, he's going into it is a tough spot going on the road against the Texas defense. So
yeah.
I think you said you don't think Greg Williams is the savior. I agree. I think Baker might be. I really like, but again, you're right. He's a rookie, and it's not going to be 140 passer ratings and 3 or 4 touchdowns every game. There's going to be bumps in the road, and this looks like one of them.
Especially look at the difference between Houston's defense and the Bengals defense, for instance. I mean,
yes,
Baker Mayfield looked like a world beater last week, but again, Texans defense is a little bit better.
All right, so 58% of the experts with the Texans, 72% of fans with the Texans. You and I are both taking the Texans. Everybody's in agreement. It's peace and harmony everywhere on our picks this week.
So the Browns will probably win like 40-10 or something.
Right. Right. Bills, Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 5 at home. Over under 40. The Dolphins have lost 6 of 8, but they're 4-1 at home, both straight up and against the spread. They're like a different team there. They beat the Titans. They beat the Bears. They've been solid. Now the Bills, on the other hand, in Josh Allen's 6 starts, the Bills are 3-3. Like, I wasn't a big fan of that pick. I mean, but he's clearly better than team with a good defense, and Josh Allen's clearly better than Peterman and Derek Anderson, and he runs well, right? He just
what's a low bar, man.
He's not a good passer yet. Maybe he'll never be. Maybe he will. But the guy, I noticed in the preseason, and I think I talked to Ryan about this the other day. That guy, when he gets in trouble, and it's an inexperienced thing, or it seems to be, he just tucks and runs. The rush comes, he's like, I'm out of here, which is probably not great for his development. But in the short term, with a crummy offense, it's probably one of the best ways they have to gain yards. And it's been okay. He's getting, and the team seems to like him. His teammates seem. I mean, maybe it's because he just, he tries to run people over and stuff. But he's kind of fun to watch. The team seems to like him. I think this is probably a close game between 2 bad teams, and I still love the Bills' defense. As much as I like them better at home, I'm going to go with them against the spread here.
What did I do? I think I went Bills, right?
You did.
Bills at +5, yeah, and Miami. I picked Miami straight up. The Bills have been kind of fun to watch this year. They were one of those teams that could go 0-16, and they were really a candidate for that. And then they come and they beat the Vikings, right, in week 3. Everyone's like, oh, that's an anomaly. That they got lucky. And then they beat the Titans a couple weeks later, and now they're on a 2-game winning streak, against bad teams. But man, they beat the Jets 41-10. They destroyed the Jets on the road. So the Bills are a team that have been kind of fun to watch and kind of fun. I don't root for any teams because I'm not a fan of anybody. But you can root for this team and be like, man, the Bills are okay. The Bills are like, they're kind of fun to watch. I don't like Miami. I don't like Tannehill. I don't like Brock Osweiler. I don't think much of them, but I think they're going to win. But I think it'll be close. And I don't know. Something weird about the Bills, man. I think Sean McVay has done. Not Sean McDermott. Yeah. No, Sean McDermott. Has done a solid job this year in a lost season. That Bills deserve a lot of credit this year, I think.
I think he's a good coach. And I don't think, basically, where I am on this game, I think the Bills are way better at home than on the road, but I don't think the Dolphins should be favored by more than a field goal against anyone. And I know they're 5-6. The record's not bad. I just don't think they're good. So
I don't either.
I'm going to take the Bills with the points. right now on NFLPickwatch.com. 63% of the experts like the Bills with the points. 60% of fans like the Bills with the points. Everybody agrees on everything. This is a weird week because you and I are with the crowd on almost everything. We differ a few. We differed a lot last week, you and I. This week we're pretty aligned, and everybody seems aligned on almost every game. It's weird. It strikes me as different than the other weeks, and I know that's anecdotal, but we can look at it more later.
This whole season is weird, though. I mean, this whole season is weird. I feel like this is one of the weirder seasons I've experienced. I mean, I know every season is a little bit weird, but this feels weird to me, this whole season.
I don't know. But to what you said a second ago, I feel like we say that every year. So I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
All right. Bears, Giants. Bears by 4.5. Over-under 44.5. Okay, so the Giants 0-4-1 against spread at home. I want to get that out of the way. Mitchell Trubisky sounds like he's not going to play again. Now that this news is becoming more clear, I suspect this spread will go down. If you want the Giants, get them fast. Because as it becomes clear, if it becomes clear today that Chase Daniel is going to start, then that number is going to go down from 4.5 or 4 to maybe 3 or something, I would think. Chase Daniel played fine last week, but he played a very low risk. It was a very low risk game plan for the Bears. They basically let their defense win the game. Nothing against Daniel. He played well. And you know, sometimes backup quarterbacks come in and they're disasters, and this certainly was not the case. But everything was short stuff. Like they kept him out of trouble, and it did fine. But the Giants have been okay. I mean, they're not a good team, but they're competitive. Like they're not this cellar dwelling disaster. They're a team that can, especially at home, that can hang with teams. And I think if Daniel plays, they got a decent shot at beating the Bears.
It seems weird because when Chase Daniel was going to start last week, it seemed like everybody was kind of calm about it. It wasn't like this, like, oh my God, Chase Daniel. And what has Chase Daniel ever done that would lead people to believe that the team was going to be okay? Like in his career, Chase Daniel's always been the guy who's like, oh, don't start that guy. But yes, you're right. Last week he was, completed 73% of his passes, a couple of touchdowns, 230 yards. He was sacked a lot, but pretty solid game from him. This game is gonna hinge on Chicago's defense, which we know is really good. The Giants have played better lately. Eli seems to be playing better lately. Saquon Barkley has been good this year. The 1 and 2 of the last 3 is good, but they didn't look great last week. I guess it's a game they could have won against the Eagles, but they're just not good enough to do it. And I don't know. I think the Bears are a good team. Obviously, I think you do rather start Mitch Trubisky in the situation, but I don't think you lose a ton if you start Chase Daniel the way he played last week. So this game hinges on the Bears' defense against the Giants' offense. And if that's the case, I'm going with the Bears.
Yeah, and what happened last week? They basically they let their defense win the game, and they did with the pick 6 against Stafford. Like the thing is, I watched that game, and in middle of the fourth quarter, I'm going, I think the Lions are going to pull this out. It's not that, again, Daniel didn't play badly. It's just that they didn't score a ton of points. And I don't know that they will this week either. So I'm going to go with the Giants with that, especially with 4.5. I'm going to go with the Giants. I think they could lose a close game. But like that game against the Lions, look, the Bears covered last week, but it was kind of a close game. It was tied late. So I'm going to take the points here. You're going to take the Bears right now on NFL Pickwatch. 79% of the experts are with the Bears, given the points. 73% of the fans with the Bears, given the points. Like I said, if you do want the Giants, whether you do, if you want the Bears, that's fine. If you want the Giants, take them now. So
the Giants straight up, Joe. I remember they had the Bears straight up.
I don't know who I took straight up. I think I took the Giants, just with the Daniel news. I don't know. I think they're playing well enough that they can win some games at home, but we'll see. All right.
Let me ask you this before we move on. Is that a bad thing for the long-term future of this team? If Eli Manning goes out and plays well, which he's done lately, is there a risk that the team thinks, oh, Eli Manning? Okay, we'll keep him another year. Is that bad news long-term?
I think so. Because they've been, no score what? They've averaged 29 per game in their last 3. He's playing better because the line's been a little better. He's still not, I don't think you win with a guy like that because as soon as the pass rush comes, he just flings the ball out of there because he can't move at all. So I think it's bad long-term, yes. So
Giants have turned the ball over. They've turned the ball over once in the last 3 games. So that's been a big part. And that, the Bears will probably try to exploit that, obviously, with turning the ball over. And if they turn the ball over, then they're in trouble.
All right. Broncos, Bengals. So right now, Broncos favored by 5. Bengals, the over under 45. It's at Cincinnati. It started at 3.5 and went up. So the big news for the Bengals, AJ Green might be back, by the way. So Andy Dalton on injured reserve. Jeff Driscoll starting at quarterback. Now, Jeff Driscoll, he was drafted by the Niners a few years ago, and I think the 3rd round, they cut him after a year. He's not good. He's interesting. You might say he's a big dude who can run a little bit. But as far as being a good quarterback, and probably not. I mean, this doesn't look good. Also, the Bengals, by the way, they're going to be missing both of their starting tackles. They literally signed Andre Smith, got cut by the Cardinals this week. The Bengals signed him, and he's probably going to start at left tackle. and Cordy Glenn might not play again because Fisher's on injured reserve. Glenn might not play. The Broncos, so you got 2 tackles off the street, and Bradley Chubb and Von Miller ready on either side ready to kill you. This just looks like a bad – I don't want to think the Broncos are a really good team yet. This looks like a bad matchup for the Bengals.
Yeah, they've lost 5 of their last 6. Last week was really disappointing. I talked last week. The Browns had won like once in the past 10 years in Cincinnati, and they came in and steamrolled Cincinnati in Cincinnati, which doesn't happen. The defense looked awful. The offense looked bad. It's time to make a change. It's been a long time coming for Marvin Lewis. It's time to make a change. That organization needs to start over. Maybe they should lose to Andy Dalton. Maybe try and get rid of him. This is a team that just isn't going anywhere right now. And now the Broncos who are playing better. Yeah, you're right. This is a bad matchup for Cincinnati. I don't see how they're going to come out and look good against the Broncos. And Vance Joseph a couple weeks ago, where people were talking like, "Oh man, he's coaching for his job. He's in trouble." And then they come out and beat the Chargers 2 weeks ago, and they beat the Steelers last week. The 2 good teams the Broncos played well against, and now they're in a situation where they got the Bengals. That should be a win. They got the 49ers next week. That should be a win. They got the Browns the week after that. That could be a win. At the Raiders, that should be a win. So now you look at a team that could go on like a 6-game winning streak.
Wow.
That's pretty amazing and really make a playoff run. Quite a turnaround for Denver if that's how it plays out. And they have a chance to do that this week in Cincinnati.
I agree. They could be good to 6-6. By the way, they're 5-1 against spread in their last 6. Bengals 1-5 against spread in their last 6. You and I both like the Broncos here on NFLPickwatch.com. We have got 77% of the experts with the Broncos giving the points, 83% of the fans, Broncos giving the points. Everybody agrees on everything again. Rams-Lions. Rams favored by 10 at Detroit, over under 54.5. Marvin Jones on injured reserve. I think that was since last week for the Lions. That's bad. Kerryon Johnson, don't think he's going to play again. The Rams might get Aqib Talib back. They're expecting to as of right now. We're recording this Friday morning, by the way, a little before 8 o'clock Eastern. So Aqib Talib might be back, which is a huge thing for the Rams to be healthy because their corners have been horrendous. Rams, they're still whatever and 1, right? But they're 1-5-2 against spread in their last 8. They're not crushing people. Lions have been struggling a little bit other than the win against Panthers. They're not good. This spread just looks too big to me on the road because I don't think I don't like giving double-digit points to a home team unless the home team is exceptionally bad. And I don't think the Lions qualify as that exceptionally bad.
I agree. Last week was a game they could have won against the Bears, and maybe they should have won. And it was a little surprising when that Stafford text, the Stafford text 6 later. I thought Stafford was going to come down and kind of lead them, give them a chance to win that game, especially on Thanksgiving at home. They didn't, obviously, but again, it's a close game. They beat the Panthers the week before, so Detroit's been so up and down this year. I don't expect them to win the game, but 10 points is a little much. They've had 10 days to prepare, had a little time off. Rams are in close games every week, and they win them. But this is not a team that's blown out opponents. And,
right.
I just don't think this is if it was 7, okay. But you look at these wins. I mean, they won by 3 last week. 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs. They had a bye last week. You look at the week before, they won by 5 against the Seahawks. They lose the week before against the Saints. Beat the Packers by 2. So you look at the schedule, and there's one blowout. They destroyed the 49ers in week 7. Other than that, man, most of the time they're playing close games.
Right. I agree.
Which is they're a good team. The Rams are a great team. They could be Super Bowl contender, but they're not blowing anybody out. And that's, if you're looking at it that way, I think 10 points is a lot to ask.
Yeah, 10 points on the road is a lot to ask for me too. We're both taking the lines with the points, and I think the Rams straight up right now on NFLPickwatch.com. 79% of the experts have the Rams giving the points. 79% of the fans have the Rams giving the points. So you and I are finally putting a flag in the ground on a team that's different from everybody else.
That's a little surprising to me, but okay.
Yeah.
That's so much.
All right, Packers-Cardinals. Packers favored by 14 at home, over under 44.5. The Packers' biggest news, David Bakhtiari, their excellent left tackle, is limited on Thursday. He had a knee injury that he suffered Sunday night. We're not sure what his status is going to be. Cardinals are 2-2-1 against spread on the road. This is another one. Some teams should be favored by 2 touchdowns. I don't think the Packers are good enough to be favored by 2 touchdowns over anyone.
Cardinals are bad, though, man.
I know. I mean, they've had some good games and they've had some complete clunkers. So
yeah.
I
mean, they lost last week by 35. To the Chargers. So I'm not saying the spread was more than 14. I would think twice about it. I think there's such a despair. I just think the Cardinals are so bad this year that I don't know. I don't mind that 14-point spread. Packers are struggling. The Packers are really in danger of making the playoffs. And again, you talk about desperate teams, but they do. There's an opportunity for Green Bay here in these last 5 weeks.
Right.
The toughest game is the Chicago in a couple of weeks, but they got the Cardinals, they got the Falcons, they're at the Jets, they got the Lions. They could run the table here and go 9-6-1 and have a chance to make the playoffs. And if you're talking about desperate teams, especially when they're at home against a team that's crappy like the Cardinals,
right?
I think this is a blowout potential here. We talked about just a minute ago sticking our flag in the dirt and going against the grain here. This is a chance for the Packers to kind of stick their flag in the dirt and say, we're ready to make a playoff run.
See, I don't think they're good enough to do that. So I'm going Cardinals with the points. You're taking the Packers. Right now, we're split here. The experts, 54% Packers giving the points, fans 58%. So this is a little divisive. All right, speaking of big spreads, Chiefs giving 15 on the road at Oakland. This is your bet your life savings game. I'm with you. I said a minute ago, some teams should give giving double digits on the road. I usually don't like unless the team is really, really bad. Here you go, Raiders. That's a team that's really bad. I'm fine, especially Chiefs coming off the bye. Andy Reid's been good off the bye in his career. I don't know if that means a lot statistically, but I think the Chiefs are going to crush these guys.
I love every year we talk about Andy Reid and his record coming off the bye. It's like it's 16-3. Last year he lost that coming off the bye last year.
Okay.
And it was like a shock. Like, oh my God, Andy Reid doesn't lose coming off the bye. And I think he's like when he has a bye in the playoffs, I think he's like 4-0. So overall, he's something like 20-3 when his team gets an extra week. It's crazy. Obviously, that's not going to mean much here because the Chiefs are so much better than the Raiders anyway. But yeah, I mean, do you remember the Chiefs are -15? Has there been a game this year where the Chiefs were this big of a favorite? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I thought that against the Cardinals at home, they were a huge favorite, somewhere around where we are now, maybe 17. They tried to tease us, or 16.5. Yeah. And they didn't cover.
Okay. Well, the Raiders are bad.
Yeah.
The Raiders are bad. The Chiefs are really good. This doesn't seem to be much of an issue for me. I didn't, like I said in the column, I picked him to win in the cover without even a second thought. So,
one other thing about this game. By the way, Sammy Watkins not practicing still after by bad sign, probably not going to play. The Raiders, they're 1-4 against spread at home. Kansas City 5-0-1 against the spread away. Two things about the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs have 2 losses. On the road by a field goal against the Rams and on the road by a field goal against the Patriots. Really, really good. One thing I heard this week, doesn't matter so much for this game, but general I like to hear. Mahomes, as much as he racked up the stats against the Rams that night on Monday night, he made mistakes. He threw 5 turnovers, I think. A few interceptions. And you know what Reid said? They asked him about it this week, and he said, they basically said, does he need to limit mistakes more? Is he making too many mistakes? And Reid said no, that I want him to keep firing, and I want him to learn from the mistakes. I don't want to rein him in and have him play like that. And I love hearing that. I love it.
I mean, that's like somebody asking, in Green Bay a decade and a half, hey, do we need to rein in Brett Favre a little bit? Does he make too many mistakes? And you're like, no, he's he's a Hall of Famer. He's a gunslinger, right? You don't rein in a gunslinger. Yeah, you have to live with the mistakes, but by and large, he's going to win games for you that way with that kind of aggression and that gunslinger mentality. And Mahomes, I think, is similar.
Yeah, and Gruden actually said that this week too. Gruden said they were asking him about Mahomes, and he was talking about how much he liked him, and he even admitted he copped to the thing that he said, "I know everybody says that I love everybody," which is true, but he said this guy. He said he reminds me of Favre so much, and that's a pretty high compliment to this guy. I love Mahomes too. All right, so we're both with the Chiefs. The points, we don't care how many points it is. It could be, I don't know if it could be 20, but I'll give the 15.5. 92% of the experts are giving the points with the Chiefs, 80% of the fans. 92% of people want to give 15.5 points to a home team. How much disrespect is that for the Raiders? It's bad. So, all right.
Well, the Raiders earned it, man.
Yeah, they have. Jets-Titans. Titans at home, favored by 7.5. Over-under is 40.5. This started at 9.5, which surprises me because the Jets are not good. The Titans have struggled. The Titans are so Jekyll and Hyde. But they've had some really nice games at home. They also lost 21-0 to the Ravens. But they've had some really nice games at home. Jets are 1-4 against the spread on the road. Sam Darnold's status, not sure. He's been limited in practices this week. I'm not sure what's going to happen. But the Jets, look, their last 5 losses, 4 of them have been by more than 2 touchdowns. I'm happy to give the points here because I think the Jets are bad.
I think when I picked on Wednesday, and it's Friday morning right now. I had it down as 10.5. That's what I saw.
10.5. So, wow.
Yeah, that's what I saw on Pickwatch a couple of days ago. So,
okay.
Would you change your pick if it was 10.5?
That's a lot of points. I'd have to think about it. 7.5, I'm happy to take Titans. 10.5, I would think hard.
Yeah.
Because the Titans aren't a team that's going to score 40, that's going to blow a team. I mean, they might blow a team out, but for the Titans to cover, you think they got to hold the Jets to 10 or less or something like that. If it was 10.5.
Yeah. So 10.5, to me, it's a no-brainer. 10.5. I'm going with the Jets. I don't think the Titans are a little bit like Jacksonville. We expected more than this year, and they just haven't really delivered consistently like you'd like.
Right.
The Jets weren't awful last week against the Patriots. Losing by 2 touchdowns never is a great thing, but they played not as bad as maybe people would have thought, which, again, kind of a backhanded compliment. I don't know. I just think, when I was picking those 10.5, I just think that's just way too many for a team in Tennessee who's just not that great. Who's on a 2-game losing streak, by the way. It's
right.
They're still in the playoff hunt, and they have a chance. To get back in there because the AFC South is I think they've probably done the AFC South, but they have a chance, and I like what Mike Vrabel's done this year, and I like what Matt LaFleur's done this year, and Marcus Mariota's playing better, and I think it's the team that you can. If the season ends and they're like 7-9 or 8-8, I think you look at that team and say, okay, this is a team that could get better next year, but they're not 10.5 points better than the Jets are at this point.
Right. But we thought they were going to get better this year. So
yeah, we did. But first-time head coach Mariota has been so up and down in his career, and
hurt.
I guess it takes time to adjust. I mean, Mariota's been through so many coordinators and coaches and all that stuff, and it takes time to adjust. And I mean, I like what Vrabel's done this year for the most part.
All right. So we're going. You got the Jets points. We had different points. I got the Titans 7.5. You got the Jets.
Yeah, 7.5. I mean, that's a huge difference, and I don't know what I would do if it was 7.5. I'd still probably take the Jets. I'm not sure the Titans are 7.5 points better than anybody at this point.
All right. Right now, 53% of the experts are on the Titans giving the points. 53% of the fans are on the Titans giving the points. So it's a free split. Niners, Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 10 at home. Over under 46. The Niners are 1-4 against spread in their last 5. The Seahawks are 5-1-1 against spread in their last 7. Listen, Seahawks, they're playing well. They're playing 4 of their final 5 games at home. They're going to make playoffs. They are. And then you know what? The Panthers, who I talk about, if they're going to make playoffs, well, someone, probably the Vikings and the Bears are going to make it. So I think the teams on the outside looking in, one of them's the NFC East loser, and then probably the Panthers. So, I mean, it's one way to go.
What I like about Seattle is that they're beating potential playoff teams, and they beat the Panthers last year. That was a big win on the
Yes,
road.
great game, too.
They beat the Packers. Yeah. They beat the Packers 2 weeks ago, and the Packers are in a little bit different spot now. At the time, 2 weeks ago, we thought Packers could get back into that playoff race. I like where Seattle is going, but again, it's at times, I don't know, it feels a little bit like a one-man show, a little bit with Russell Wilson.
Right.
I don't know. I think
they run well.
Yeah, I guess so. But nothing. Yeah, I guess they run okay. I don't know. I think 10 is a pretty big spread. You know what? This is a tough game for me. I went with the 49ers.
Okay.
I don't really like that pick either.
Remember, we have the right to change this before Sunday. You got to keep an eye on NFLPickwatch.com, everybody. We have we're talking. I mean, Josh is telling you right now he might change the pick.
I probably won't because I'm too lazy to get the line back on the site. I don't think I even made my pick. I don't think I even put my picks in.
Yes, you did. I've seen them.
Did I? I don't remember doing them. Anyway.
Yeah, you picked the Niners with points.
No, I put. Okay, well, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah, right. 49ers are bad. Losing last week at Tampa Bay, pretty bad. Like, I don't know. I don't like this game at all.
Okay. Well, right now, experts are 84% Seahawks given the points. Fans are 78% Seahawks given the points. I don't like being with the grain all the time, but I'm taking the Seahawks with the points. You're taking 49ers. All right. Vikings Patriots. Patriots by 6 at home. Over-unders 49.5. Some injuries for the Vikings. Remember, we're recording this Friday morning. Stephon Diggs has not practiced this week. You got to keep an eye on that. It's a big deal for the Vikings. Xavier Rhodes, their corner, who got hurt Sunday night. That it looked Sunday afternoon or night. They played at night, right? Did they play at night? Whatever it was. Very, very mild hamstring injury for his Rhodes, but he didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. So that quote, by the way, very, very mild. That was from Zimmer. And now it seems maybe it's mild. So we got to watch that too. I don't know. Rex Burkhead's back. The Patriots are healthy. Their skill players are all healthy, which they haven't been too much this year. Last week, it's not like they destroyed the Jets, but, with Michelle healthy and Gronk back, I still think Gronk's on the downslide, but he's still fine. Edelman, back and healthy, and Gordon played. They're 5-0 against the spread, straight up at home, by the way. They won every game. They're always strong at home. This number just seems – I've been a Vikings fan all year, and I think they've been a little disappointing. But this spread's too big for me against the Vikings.
Yeah. The Vikings, they still have a lot to play for. Obviously, trying to get that NFC wildcard spot. Yeah, they win last week against the Packers in a pretty tough game. It's interesting, Gronk. He still makes catches, and he still scores touchdowns, and he's obviously one of the biggest offensive weapons the Patriots can have. But he's not the same guy. It doesn't seem like it, does it? I mean, it just seems like he's all with pads and things on his elbows, and it's just like he's not. Yeah. You're right. He's on the downside. Anyway, I don't think it matters much for this game. I think I'm going with the Patriots straight up, but the Vikings against the spread. It's this will be a close game. The Vikings have a lot to play for.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, Patriots are obviously really good. I don't think they're dominant. I think they're a good team. They're a really good team.
No,
they're one of the best, 5 or 6, but they're not destroying people. And I think, like I said, I just think the spread's too big. So, and it'll probably be a close game. Right now,
they're losing games they shouldn't lose. They've lost a couple games they shouldn't lose.
Right. I mean, yeah. And they got beat convincingly. I mean, what are they? Are they 8-2, 9-2, 8-3? What is it?
8-3.
So, I mean, they lost convincingly on the road to the Jags and to the Lions.
And Tennessee.
And Tennessee. I mean, all 3 were games that, they got beat. That doesn't mean they're a bad team. It just means, it's not like, oh, hey, anyone coming into Foxborough, the Patriots going to kick their ass. I don't think that's just not them. So, anyway, right now, 52% of the experts picking the Patriots with giving the points. 53% of the fans picking the Patriots giving the points. You and I are with the Vikings. There's not overwhelming consensus on that game. Chargers-Steelers Sunday night. Steelers favored by 3.5. Over under 51.5. Melvin Gordon out, unless something drastic happens before the weekend. Chargers are 4-1 against the spread on the road. They won big last week against the Cardinals. The Steelers lost that tough. Ben Roethlisberger made a terrible throw against the Broncos. Looked like they were going to come back and win that game, and then they didn't. This is the scares the hell out of you game.
Well, yeah, it's hard. I had a hard time picking this game, and then I was doing research on it, and I saw looked at this SI.com story, and this is what it said, quote, "This marks the third time since the start of October that the Steelers have been favored at home by 3.5 points. That was against Atlanta and Carolina, and Pittsburgh won those games by 24 and 31 points. So if you're looking at it that way, this is an easy game to pick. Go with Pittsburgh in a route.
Yeah. All right. I think they're going to cover it. The Melvin Gordon absence is a big deal. I mean, that's a big – he's been playing very well. That's a big deal. I think that, I mean, if basically the spread suggests that these teams are evenly matched, which they might be, I wonder if the Melvin Gordon absence that's what tips the scales for me on this one. That it's not a toss-up with the 3 points going to the home team with Melvin Gordon out too. So I think it's more likely that the Steelers win by 10 than it is for the Chargers to win. I like the Chargers. I'm a fan, and I hope they do well this year. But I'm going to go with the Steelers. So are you. By the way, the over/under 51.5. Steelers have been under in 4 of their last 6. Chargers been under 4 of their last 5. The Steelers defense is playing better. The Chargers defense is pretty good. So on NFLPickwatch.com, 63% of the experts going with Steelers. 54% of the fans going with Steelers points. Finally, Monday night, Redskins, Eagles. Eagles favored by 6.5. Over/under is 45. So some injury news. Adrian Peterson didn't practice Thursday with a shoulder injury. Not sure what's up with that yet. Chris Thompson thinks he's going to play, which is great for the Redskins. Jordan Reed, I didn't see what Jordan Reed's practice status was on Thursday. You're going to want to check that. Colt McCoy playing again. The Eagles might get some corners back. Last week, they were playing basically 3 guys off the street against the Giants, and the Giants still couldn't tear them up. That's another Eli data point, by the way. But they should get Sidney Jones and Russell Douglas back, which is a big deal for them because not that they're great, but they're, at least they're guys who they expected to play this season, not just random guys who were, selling insurance the week before last week. Eagles 1-5 against spread home. They're struggling. This is a game where I said to Ryan, I don't want to pick anybody. Like you look for reasons to like a team, and there's not a lot to like about either one of these the way they're playing right now. And the Eagles barely beat the Giants. They struggled before that. The Redskins, they looked like they were playing well on Thanksgiving, and then things turned on a dime. Colt McCoy's not good. I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I don't know. I can see it going either way because both teams are bad enough to blow it.
I look at the Redskins and I see a team that's going downhill. It's going down the drain. And they've lost a close game against Houston, and they lost a pretty close game against Dallas. And I think they're a desperate team right now. And I wrote about this in the column. I was disappointed. I think most of the NFL world was disappointed by them signing Reuben Foster. And even if he doesn't, he's not gonna, I guess he won't play this week. I think just the idea that the only NFL team to put a waiver claim on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can read my column. I guess we don't need to get into it right now. But I really think that smacks of desperation. And I maybe that it doesn't affect the psyche of the team either way. But I just think that the Redskins are desperate, and I think especially with the Cowboys winning on Thursday, this is a team that just can go into a shell and just and implode.
Right.
Alex Smith, the loss of Alex Smith is a huge deal, and I didn't really have much trouble picking the Eagles here.
Okay.
Like you said, the Eagles aren't good either, and they probably won't make the playoffs either. But I feel so much better about the Eagles right now than about the Redskins.
I think you might be right. I'm picking the Eagles too. 2 things about the Reuben Foster thing. First, they said when they signed him, look, I'm sort of beyond getting shocked by stuff like this because we've seen teams do this before. Not that I think it's good, but when they signed him, they said, "Well, we've got guys here who were former teammates of his, and we talked to them."
Yeah.
So the media people talked to Clinton Dix, and these are college teammates. Clinton Dix and Jonathan Allen. They're like, "Oh, hey, the Redskins said they talked to his teammates." Both of those guys went, "Well, they didn't talk to me." Okay. So they lied. And Doug Williams, when he talked Thursday, sometimes, like, if you make the defense of, well, we want to let the legal process play out, and like, I don't like it in this case, it's just, you know, you're under no obligation to pick him up to let the legal process play out, and I think it was bad, but it's sort of it's a logical explanation more than a reasonable one. But what he didn't say that. He said, hey, like, basically, we've got people in really, really high places who do really bad things, so, you know, it's kind of like, it's okay.
I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand the league there. I mean, after Ray Rice, after that whole thing went down, you thought there was a chance for things to change, and they need to change so desperately. And they just and teams have just proven over and over again, if you think a guy can help you in the short term, you're gonna take him up no matter what. And now they're paying him like what, $35,000 a week or something to be on the commissioner's exempt list, and it's like, I don't know. I guess if you have any kind of progressive mindset politically, it's and you follow the NFL, it seems like it's like the Clash, right? And maybe most of the fan base is conservative, but but it's just another step where you're like, if you're a fan who is more of a liberal mindset, I'm not saying I'm one way or the other, but it gives you another reason to pause and say, why am I supporting this league if they're going to bring in a guy like Ruben Foster? Again, a guy who's not been convicted of anything, just been accused a couple different times.
Right. But what happens here is people, and even it seems like this has sort of been universally criticized. I mean, even Redskins fans are like, come on, guys. I mean, most of them are. But you know what? If that guy goes out in his first game and makes 12 tackles, people will be fine. The fans will cheer him. And they'll you know, they'll kind of hide their eyes a little bit and cheer for the guy. That's what we do. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. That's what you do with CTE. That's what you do with guys getting concussions. I mean, that's what you do. I mean, as a sports writer, that's what we do too. I mean, we're making money off of this. I love boxing. I write about boxing for Forbes. Same type thing. So you have to ask yourself, you have to, I guess, wrestle with it morally. And most of the time, me included, the game's going to win out. I want to watch a game. I love watching boxing. I'm going to watch a dude get pummeled and suffer potential brain damage. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to make money off it. So it's, you know, for sports writers, it's not something we ever had to worry about, say, 10 years ago or before. All of our predecessors never had to worry about any of this stuff. They didn't have to think about it.
Right.
We do, and we still do. So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. But I think with this sign, there's no reason to sign him at this point. There's just no reason to do it. He's not going to play. You're just paying him money to sit at home. It's just a bad look, and I don't know why teams keep doing this. We
should go cover politics. It's a lot more morally good.
Well, I don't know what we should cover. Please away from the moral issue. But
you're picking the Redskins with the points, according to what I see, and I'm picking the Eagles. You said you meant to go Eagles. I got you Redskins with the points.
Oh my God. 6. God, yeah. I'm going with the Redskins.
Okay.
No, I need to change that pick. I don't want Redskins.
Josh is going Eagles.
I'm going Eagles. I'm going to change it right now. I'm going to change it right as we speak.
All right. So 51% of the experts are going with the Eagles. 50% of the fans are going with the Eagles. This is the most divided pick. By the way, everybody, just to give you a sense of what we got here. The most popular expert against spread picks. Chiefs 92%, Colts 90%, Seahawks 84%. The most popular fan against spread picks. Broncos 83%. Chiefs and Colts 80, Rams 79. Chiefs, Colts, Seahawks, Broncos, very popular this week. If you want to go against the grain, you and I went against the grain. Let's see. I don't know. We don't agree with going against the Raiders. You and I were divided on Colts, Jags. We were divided on Seahawks, 49ers. So maybe the Niners and the Jags would be the way to go if you're willing to go against the grain. So,
not the way to go against the grain here.
What do you got going on? What else?
Just I gotta change this pick, man. I gotta change this Eagles pick. It's ridiculous. What's going on? I don't know. Nothing. Just trying to live, man. Just trying to live.
Okay.
Just living, right? Livin.
Livin. That's right. Okay. You're in Austin. That movie was in Austin, right?
John, if you ever come to Austin, there's a great barbecue place. There's a lot of great barbecues, but there's one of my favorites is called Style Switch.
Okay.
And it's right where they shot a lot of that movie. It's right where the for just Dazed and Confused is the movie.
Yes.
It's where the Emporium is. Remember? You know where the Emporium is? You remember watching that movie?
I don't remember it that well.
Emporium was where they hung out. It was like the team club where the pool hall was. And it's where across the street where Ben Affleck's character goes and gets the paint dumped on him from the roof. All that is right there. And you actually see when there's a scene where the car comes in the parking lot and goes and parks at the Emporium. That is right where that barbecue place is. It wasn't there then, it is now. But if you ever come to Austin, we'll go to that barbecue place and we'll do a little Dazed and Confused tour and say that we are LIVIN, man.
LIVIN, eating barbecue. That sounds great. It's not like those guys were out all night. It's just us eating barbecue and like going to bed at 9 o'clock. It'd be awesome.
with a full tummy, yeah, for sure.
All right, folks. He's at Josh Katzowitz on Twitter. I'm at Halpin37. The main account is at Pickwatch. Like us on Facebook if you're watching us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching us on Facebook. Usually this will stream live on Facebook today. Not so much, but we'll work on it. I'll be back here Sunday, 11:45 a.m. Eastern with the inactives and the news relating from it. So on Facebook. So please check out our Facebook page and like it. So you see that coming into feed 11:45 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. That's it. It's been fun. I'll be back Sunday morning. For Josh Katzowitz, I'm John Halpin. Thank you for watching this edition of Pickwatch Live.